Hello, Reviteers. Welcome to ceilings. Now, I am going to assume that most of you guys have already done the floor and roof lecture, but in case you haven't, I'm just going to do a really quick review. When you look on my screen, you can see that I have included a section cut. And a section cut is a building view that cuts through your entire building and shows how everything looks on the inside. And it goes through several rooms and it shows the structure as well. Unlike an interior elevation, which only shows the interior bounding walls of a room or space. Now I got the section line by coming to this shortcut here, but you can also go to the view menu and there's a section line here as well. And the reason why I want you guys to remember that is I am going to insert a ceiling in my bathroom, and the best view to see ceilings is similar to that of floors and roofs, where you want to see it in a section view. So let me get you guys caught up here. There's my bathroom plan, and here's my bathroom section. So here in the section, I've got an exterior wall, gets highlighted there. I have interior walls, highlighted here and here in the hallway. And then I also have a roof. I don't have a view that shows the roof right now, unfortunately, but hopefully that gives you a good idea of what's going on. So in our section, what we've created again is a roof. And one thing to remember is even though you have a roof structure, if you look up at the ceiling that you're in right now, I am pretty confident that at least 95% of you are looking up at some sort of a hard lid ceiling. A hard lid would be something like a drywall ceiling or even an acoustic ceiling tile ceiling. It's usually only in commercial or warehouse spaces where you look up and you can actually see the structure. Because when you are in a commercial setting, I think people are more open to seeing the duct work and the electrical work and lighting that is in the open area. Typically in our homes, we want to hide that. And again, that area between, the roof structure and the bottom of the ceiling, this open area is called the ceiling plenum. And in that plenum, again, is where we run duct work, electrical, and lighting, pretty much anything that we want to hide in the ceiling. By code, you are required, even in a commercial area, to have a hard lid ceiling. It helps with moisture control and it also helps with venting. So regardless of whether you have an open ceiling or not, by the time you come into a restroom, you do need to have that hard lid. So what we're going to do today is insert a ceiling, and it's actually very simple. There's just a few things you need to remember. The first thing is that we don't work in the main floor plan. We work in a reflected ceiling. So looking over here, we have a ceiling plan area or in our project browser, and you can click on main level, and this opens up our main level ceiling plan. And essentially this view is what it would look like if we laid down on our backs on the floor and looked up. When we're laying down, we can assume that we're not seeing any of the furniture. So that's why in the ceiling plan, all of the furniture is gone. Not just that, but you can also see that we don't see any of the doorways. And that's because we're looking up at a ceiling view. So I see these windows here, and that's because they're really high. These are the bedroom windows. And remember, for privacy, they mounted those windows pretty high. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And in my ceiling plan, it's really simple to add it. In my architecture menu, I've got a ceiling right here. And then once I place it, there's only a few things that I need to take care of. But looking here, this should look really similar to you, or really familiar. We've got our automatic ceiling, which I use 95% of the time. But we also have this option to sketch the ceiling. So this is where it should look really familiar to you. Right? So we've used all of these sketching tools now in multiple places. I'm going to switch back to auto ceiling. Now, please remember, just like what we talked about before, is when you are in a menu like this, you have to hit the red X if you want to cancel or the green check to say, yep, I am finished. I know I'm not working anymore. If you don't, Revit is waiting for you to make those decisions and wrap up, and everything else gets grayed out. So remember, you're not doing anything wrong. You just need to let Revit know that you're done working. Okay, so with that, what we want to do, if I have auto sealing on, you can see that when I hover over a room, it automatically finds the bounding walls of that room. Right now it's working well. This is exactly what I want. But Revit isn't perfect. There might be times where it's not going to work the way you want it to. So that's when you might want to go and sketch it instead. Okay, it's up to you. But for this auto sealing, as soon as I click in the space, actually, sorry, before I click in the space, take a look. It is going to put in a compound ceiling, gypsum wallboard, that's essentially any sort of painted drywall, on furring. Furring is a wood stud. I also have an option for a metal stud or an acoustical ceiling tile system. We typically don't use that in residential, but I've honestly seen everything. So when I click in here, I got my ceiling and I'm just going to hit the green check mark. And then in my section view, you can see that it put in a ceiling for me automatically. And the only thing that we need to do is adjust the height of the ceiling. Now, an 8-foot ceiling is totally fine in a residential setting, but when we started this project, we kind of made the agreement that all of our ceilings were going to be up at 10 feet. So you can click on the ceiling and change it here, 10 feet, or you can also click on the ceiling and come in your properties. You would change it under height, offset from level. All right, so here we don't necessarily attach it to our elevations that we've created, but we tell it how far to offset it from that level. So there's my 10-foot ceiling. And at some point, it looks like I also clicked into the hallway and added a ceiling in there. And it's as easy as hitting delete to get rid of it, but I can also add it. Now, one thing that really throws people off is even though I added a ceiling, you don't see it at all in this view. So again, this is one of those things where it makes it really helpful to be able to see it in section. So one troubleshooting thing to do, again, is to make sure you have it open in section. And one other tricky thing that happens is right now, if I click on my ceiling, right, I should be able to see it in my main level. But see how it's not highlighting to show me that it's there? This is a common mistake. But if I grab my ceiling and hit delete, I'm going to try to put it in one more time and see if we can't get that ceiling to show up. So there's my ceiling. I'm going to click to place it. We can see it show up here. And then I'm going to hit escape to be done. Okay. Now I'm going to grab it in this view. And now you can see it is highlighting in the main level. One thing that may have happened is once you get it maybe too high up, it might fall off of your view range. So I'm going to see if that works. I'm going to see if I can troubleshoot that. So here's my ceiling. I'm going to take it up to 10 feet. Okay. And you see that once I took it up to 10 feet, it's too high. The main level can't see it. So now I'm going to show you where you can go in your properties menu so that even if you have a 10-foot ceiling, you'll still be able to see it here in the main level. All right, so to get started with that, go ahead and come into your properties menu, and you're going to have to scroll down until you see a menu called, oh, sorry, my screen is so small, I totally missed it. Am I in? Oh, there we go. I wasn't in the right view. Sorry. So make sure you're in ceiling plan. I think I was in section. And again, I want you to scroll down until you see extents. And this time we're going to go to view range. So we've been in extents before. We've cropped the views, but this time we're going to go to view range. And here's what view range does. I'm going to click this expansion menu here. This is explaining how the view range works. So in a nutshell, in our section, the top is exactly at 10 feet. So we're seeing 10 feet and the cut plane is all the way up at 7/8. So again, if you are sitting in a room right now, go ahead and look up And you can imagine that your room is being cut off at 7 feet 8 inches, and you're looking all the way up to 10 feet. So it's a pretty small portion. The view depth is also only going up to 10 feet. Now, because our ceiling is set at 10 feet, it's at the exact same height. So what I want to do is I'm just going to add a few inches. Let's do 6 inches on the top and the level. That way our view range gets a little bit deeper so that we can be ensured to see the ceiling. So I'm going to hit apply, and now I'm going to hit OK. So again, what I did, I lifted up my view to go above the 10-foot mark of where my ceiling is. And now when I hit OK, if I jump into the section and grab my ceiling, now it's visible on my main level view. Before, my view was set too low. Because they were at the exact same level, it would be like as if I set my camera right on top of it. Now what I've done, I've raised my camera up a little so that it comes into view. So that's it as far as the ceiling goes. A couple troubleshooting things. A lot of times when students first start making ceilings, oh, excuse me, I need to come in here. Because you can't see that there's a ceiling here, a lot of people will click on ceiling and they'll just keep, and then eventually it'll warn you like, hey, there's 2 ceilings here. What's going on? So then you can, hit escape, grab one of them. These are the ones I just created. And if you hit delete, it deletes one. And then if you grab the other one, you can hit delete and then it goes away. But a correct section would be that you only have one ceiling and it's up at the 10-foot mark. Okay. And then go ahead and add ceilings in a few different rooms as well. Check the rubric to see what the requirements are, but I at least need it in the bathroom, and then maybe we can add it in the hallway as well as this laundry room as well, and it should be pretty straightforward. Let me know if you guys have any questions, but that should cover ceilings for us as far as getting the ceilings in. Now, one of the reasons why I made this a separate lecture is that some of you guys might need your ceiling plans or reflected ceiling plans for other classes. So here we've got a first floor reflected ceiling plan. So if I double click on that, it already has some of, the layout already in here, which is great, but you'll need to add more information. So for example, I'm going to come back up to my actual ceiling plan or ceiling right here. If you have a class where you need to add lights, I'm not going to get too into depth with this, but I'm just going to show you quickly what you can do. You can go to Systems, and I believe somewhere in here, there should be lighting. This is like a game show. I'm sure everybody at home is yelling. Okay, there we go, light fixture. And let's just see what's already loaded. All right, I have a couple can lights. So grab a can light and take a look. If I have a ceiling, it'll go into it. If I don't have a ceiling, Revit's like, no way. I need something to put this can light into. Let's look at the section. So take a look. When you put in the can lights, you can see them actually going in and being placed into the ceiling at the right location. So there's some can lights for you. The other thing that has also come up, and I know this is really super duper quick, but, oh, can light. Okay, sorry, my graphic card is freaking out. I saw a can light right here. The other thing that people have also asked me in the past is, oh, what if I have to show like the light switches or the circuiting to this? Now, I don't know if this is the best way to do this, but there is a wire thing that we can do here. So if you click on this, oh, that's not very pretty. Let me do Control Z. I obviously don't do this a lot. So if I do an arc wire, if I start here, I want to curve it. Arc wire second point. Oh, that is so not pretty. Okay, I don't like that. I usually like them being curved. Maybe play with it. You'll probably do it better than me. But another thing that you can do if you go in the architecture menu or even the annotate menu, we've got our detail lines that we learned about when we had our interior elevation module. Under line style, there is a hidden line that you can use, and a hidden is just a dashed line. So if you go to hidden, you can get any one of these curved lines, and you go from one point to the next, and then you show where the curve goes. That is, okay. None of the created elements are visible in reflected ceiling plan, so that's no good. If I go to my main floor plan, let's see if it randomly ended up in there. Is this it? Yeah, so this ended up in here. Well, that wasn't very helpful to you guys at all. Let me play with it a little bit more and leave comments in the discussion if this is something that you need sooner or later in the semester. And I promise that I will figure out if we are going to use detail lines or if I can quickly show you guys how to do it with the arc wires. So the only thing that I don't like about these is if you look at the preview, it's showing us a nice little arc wire. Mine was not pretty or arced. So that's the only thing I want to figure out. Let me try it one more time. So here to here. Oh, it's a little bit better. Okay. It's a little happy face. Look, it's like, good job, Naima, you figured it out. So starting point, arc point, end point. I should have rehearsed this. Sorry, guys. So start point, arc point, end point. There you go. There are your arc wires. I hope that's what you need in your other classes. If you need more than that, again, send me a little note on Canvas or just add it to the discussion. And just make sure, let's look at our ceiling plan. Oh, beautiful. There's our arc wire. Okay. Pros, ladies and gentlemen, we are pros. That's it for ceilings. If you need any more troubleshooting beyond what I've shown you, you know where to find me. Have a good week.